very good evening and a very warm welcome to IEA's Saturday Night Live Season 2. In April 2020, in our first season of Saturday Night Live, we featured a total of 11 countries to share with agents and our members about the respective countries, their practices, their geography, their demographics, everything you need to know, an agent need to know about a country, all right, which we thought was useful for agents, all right. Now, with the current phase 2 heightened alert, until it was announced last night, we didn't know that the government is going to let off some of the measures. IEA thought it would be a good idea to make good use of the situation to organize this Saturday Night Live Season 2. We would also like to take the opportune time to let viewers know that IEA conducts a certificate course in marketing of foreign properties in Singapore, where over 1,000 agents have been certified and they have earned their new designation. And on top of that, we have a CCMFP alumni Telegram chat group where all the new designee gets to share and are updated with the latest global info on real estate. When we first conducted CCMFP, the course was conducted over a period of 2.5 days, covering 5 modules, and thereafter students will have to take an assessment and pass before they can become certified and designated. Of course, designation and certification acknowledging experiences and expertise in various real estate sectors are awarded by IEA only upon your completion and passing assessment. And they are supported by CEA, awarding and accrediting you with CPD credits. Now, since our inception in 1998, IEA has been providing a wide range of programs, courses, services that help members and agents to increase their proficiency, their skill sets, all right? And of course, to give you more knowledge how to further enhance your skill as well as in the areas of technology. That's why we also conducted webinars like Tech Tuesday during the circuit breaker period to help agents and to help our members in that area. Of course, the CCMFP is one of these courses that IEA conduct monthly. The course is supported by SkillFuture, UTAP, and previously when you learn and earn, there is a training support scheme by NTUC, but that's already gone. NTUC no more giving you the training support. But for CCMFP, eligible applicants, you only pay 168 instead of 700 plus. And the next intake of CCMFP will be conducted this month from 23rd to 27th with 5 daily modules from 10 to 1 because we don't want you to spend the whole day attending Zoom and get Zoom fatigue. So that's why now it's being conducted online because physical training is not allowed. And of course, the CCMFP covers up to 10 countries, namely Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Philippines, India, Japan, China, Australia, UK, and last but not least, New Zealand. We also covered Singapore, but it's only on the practice guideline and what are the do's and don'ts when agents want to market foreign property. So this is a little bit about our course that we are teaching students who aspire or who are already marketing foreign properties. It is good to get yourself certified and earn the designation where you can add that on into your business card. Now, it gives me great pleasure, all right, in handing over this evening show to one of our council members, Mr. Clarence Cheong, who will be your host this evening. Over to you, Clarence.
Thank you, Jeff, for your great introduction. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's program, our Saturday Night Live specially brought to you by Institute of Estate Agents Singapore. I am Clarence, your host tonight. To the audience watching home through Zoom, you may want to type your question in your question chat box so that our guest speakers will try to answer them later. And for those people watching through Facebook, you can also type your question in the chat box too. Now, before I introduce to you our main speaker, let me tell you some highlights of Cambodia. Since 2018, more than 15,600 residential apartments and condominiums has been built in Phnom Penh, and these are for sale. These properties are great attraction to many, especially Chinese investors and buyers. The construction boomed mainly in two areas, the capital of Cambodia and Sihanoukville, where the estate covers 12 districts around the capital. Cambodia is like a hidden gem waiting to be discovered. Let's today's show introduce an update on Cambodia growth. After all, it is the kingdom of wonders. Now, it is our great pleasure to have two outstanding guests, Mr. Philip Tan and Miss Angie Chew, with tonight kickstart out with program Investing in Kingdom Cambodia. Now, it gives me a great pleasure to introduce our first guest speaker, Mr. Philip Tan. Before I do that, here is a brief on Mr. Tan's folio. Philip Tan, COO, Oswell Group International, Australia, Marketing Director, Propnex, Cambodia. He plays many roles in business and leadership. He is also President of Aus Asia Business Council and creator of Smart Investment, Mindset, and Smart Mastery. He is qualified in real estate and business sales with full license certification from Australia. Phillips also holds the position of COO of Oswell International Group in Melbourne, offering value services in property development and project marketing. He is also Marketing Director of Cambodia Propnex. In addition, in his career success, he is actively involved in the state of Victoria at his own current position, Regional Advisory Council under the Victorian Multicultural Commission. The RCA's role is to provide critical on-the-ground insights and potential solutions into issues such as migrants and refugee settlement, mental well-being, youth education and employment services, housing, citizenship, family violence, and the recent business COVID recovery concern and initiative. Before I hand the mic over to Philip, let's watch a short video. without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Philip Tan.
Thank you, Clarence. Thank you for putting on that video. I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, me too. Wow, Philip, your video is very interesting.
Well, it's been my way of showing the viewers tonight how exciting Cambodia can be. I've been moving around in Cambodia, I think, for more than 10 years, I would say. Clarence? Yeah. Can't wait to get back. Get back.
Sure. The show is yours now.
Okay. Good day and Jum Rikso to all the viewers and my Cambodian friends. First and foremost, I'd like to extend my well wishes to the people of Singapore. Happy National Day. I know a little bit early, but this is a fitting moment for me to extend my best wishes to everyone. I share your joy and celebrate with you. For the past 15 years, I have been residing in Australia. So moving forward, today, I truly appreciate IEA invitation, and I hope I can add values to today's discussion on the hot topic of Cambodia's growth. So the video presentation on Cambodia, its purpose is not to share, it's to share my personal journey actually, and with some experience in the investment knowledge, and perhaps the viewers can have a better understanding of Cambodia. Okay, so the business of property has always been my passion, and it gives me great values and success, as well as a lot of new friendship. Now, today's video and sharing does not meant to confuse or play down anyone business interest in Australia or any other countries that they may have invested in. Okay, so I remain committed in advocating for the strong home ownership and capital appreciation of property in Australia. Now, in 2020, as you know, this COVID has actually descended upon us. The world is actually caught unprepared and clueless. The global pandemic and a lot of country is not spared. Okay, and the world faces strong economic headwinds, challenges that we all need to stay safe and positive. But however, in 2021, we already crossed the half-year mark, and soon we'll ring in the new year, and we are all adapting the new normality way of life. Now, ladies and gentlemen, agents and friends, as the world starts towards COVID recovery, you need to be resourceful in managing our wealth as we position our next financial growth. Now, allow me to unlock the investment potential of Cambodia, power up your financial engine in growing your wealth, making your dollar work harder and smarter beyond 2021. All right? Oh, is that a good thing to do, Clarence?
Yes.
Okay. So now, I will try to. It's a lot to go through, so I'll do my best and to cover a little bit more quicker on what I want to explain. Cambodia, I'm very passionate about Cambodia, all right? So in 2004, Cambodia actually joined the World WTO, okay? So tourism at that time was only 1 million. So pre-COVID at its peak is close to 6.5 million. And you know there's another new airport coming out, the international airport. It's going to be $1.5 million. It's going to be one of the world's biggest airport in the world, okay? So yes, so this has marked its, with the WTO, it has marked its milestone into bringing Cambodia accessions to the prosperity in terms of economic, social development, alongside other countries in Asia region and beyond. Now, Cambodia is highly open, accessible emerging market that has seen rapid economic growth, transformation over the last 2 decades. Record GDP for the last 2 decades is around 7.5%. So this outstanding growth has consistently skyrocketed Cambodia into one of the fastest growing economy in the world. Developments from subsistence agriculture to market-based, from high poverty rate to improving lower middle income country, driven by concentrated growth in garment, textile, footwear sector, as well as the construction and tourism. Tourism is a big business in Cambodia. Now, the Cambodian competitive advantage, of course, is low cost, okay? They're so effective for business people. Businessmen love it, all right? Young population, they love it too. Plenty of supply of so-called available workforce. Central location between Vietnam, Thailand, and the preferential tariff access, which helps them to export to other part of the world. Now, I'd like to share some market insight from the Australian government as well So this is to tell you that how the Australian government also participate in Cambodia's growth. This is a extract from the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade. Okay, so and then the trade and investment opportunity, I would say that Australia's existing commercial interests in Cambodia are focused in educational services, food and beverages, financial, professional services, mining, resources, hospitality, and government sourcing. Now we all know that, right? So these are the few keys industry that a lot of people are actually involved in right now. You know, business from investor from around the region. Now Cambodia also so far has avoided the worst of the COVID-19, health crisis, and maintain most economic activity within minimum restriction. So this is a blessing. Of course, everybody has to still be very careful and still have to put the mask on and distance social distancing and so on and so forth, and follow the regulation of the World Health authorities. All right, and Australia is also the most popular English language educational destination for Cambodia students. I'm the advisory for one of the student association in Victoria, and the education service make up about 80% of Australia's service export to Cambodia, with around 2,900 Cambodia currently enrolled in Australia education institution. I believe the numbers will be even higher if it wasn't for the COVID situation. So demand for quality education continue to increase, with around 60% of the population under the age of 30. Enrollment rate in schools are improving, and a growing middle income can afford private education. So this also tells you the growing wealth of the citizens of Cambodia having new so-called newfound wealth. So Cambodia have relatively underexplored mineral resources, right? And the Cambodian government also demonstrate the strong support for the industry. We all heard about discovering gold, and now people are really mining for gold now. So Australia will invest in a new package of economic development and security measure, which include 232 million to support economic integration and development in the Mekong Basin region. So the Australian Development Corporation is supporting Cambodia to work towards overcoming this issue to ensuring a robust recovery from the COVID-19 economic crisis. So this is the focus on building economic resilience through promoting economic diversification and competitiveness, attracting quality investment, managing infrastructure development more strategically, and promote economic opportunity. So along that, of course, we also know, Clarence, that Cambodia is a member of the ASEAN Economic Committee, and that is important. And also the World Trade Organization, which helped them, to be relatively open in their trading regime. So the ASEAN is Australia's second largest trading partner as a bloc, and it's essential to Australia's economy recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2019 and 2020, Australia trade with ASEAN countries was 113.7 billion, which is greater than the two-way trade with Japan and United States. There you go, Clarence. You say?
Yeah.
A lot of people are exciting about Cambodia.
Question for you, Philip. Thanks for sharing with your listeners on Australia's involvement with Cambodia. That is very positive to note, but I do know that you are knowledgeable about Cambodia. What is Cambodia that makes you so engaged with this country as your investment hotspot?
Well, as you know, many economists and financial experts always anticipated the V-shaped recovery, especially in emerging economy. And in this context, I believe Cambodia will qualify. As earlier on, I mentioned some of the points there, some of the points that are regarding the so-called the industry, the World Trade Organizations from 1 million during the 2004 when they joined World Trade Organization to increasing tourism, and the world gets to know about Cambodia, of course. And then to building the gonna be the world biggest airport, one of the world's biggest airport, worth about $1.5 billion. There's a lot of money there. So these are all coming, and it's about 40% completed, by the way, if you want to know. So the fact here is that I feel very bullish, Clarence, particularly about Cambodia, where the cost of business investment is still low, and the COVID crisis did not really tarnish its shines. It's still going very well. So the strong business fundamental is also still in place to draw investors from the neighboring and distant country. So if you look at Cambodia, there's always two words, okay, that always pop up, in my observation and study. In my last talk, I highlight the two keywords, political stability and economic sustainability. But today I will add one more word, okay? I will just add one more word, and hopefully that will cement my sharing, that is certainty. Okay, as the country grows, so will the government, I always say, okay? Because the country, once the country take off, okay, in terms of its prosperity and economy wealth, the government will also need to go along the way of creating a better system, better reform, better industrial reform to satisfy investor and a better investment policy. So these are the things that work together, with the proper equation to make things work. So in the early years of 2010, okay, I still remember when I set foot in the Kingdom of Cambodia, and after that many visit follows, and I have developed deep appreciation, okay, with its people, its culture, and its country, and the ability to have deeper connection with Cambodia. The objective of my sharing, okay, let me cut short the learning curve, okay, so that you can actually take advantage of the current investment opportunity. After all, we are talking about investing into Cambodia tonight, okay? Now, looking back some 35 years ago, if you ask me about investing overseas, I can tell you I had no clue at all, okay? No clue. Back then, the world was not so well connected, you know what I mean? Traveling isn't cheap, information flow slow, and news are so outdated sometimes, huh? So many times we either have no information or we are misinformed regarding the fact of happening. So today the possibility is going to improve with the digitalizations and the digitalized world, connecting 5G and whatever you have, the ability to real-time connect, empowering cross-border marketing through social media, VR, zooming in and out of the world. As long as you have the smartphone, you are connected, digitally linked, and you will be good to go. And you will not miss any big things, okay? You will not miss it. But if you do not have it, you'll miss it big time, okay? So in fact, with the open, well-connected network platform, which improve speed and productivity, our definitely opportunities, don't bypass us so easily. We will actually get to see it very quickly and seize the opportunity. So myself, even at the panic situation in the COVID time, I engaged in e-learning, okay, and there's a lot of things to learn. And on the real estate, as viewing on project especially, most of you guys will know, it's through real-time VR platform. Sales are being made, and even e-contracts are being signed. So this is a new age reality of immense possibility, all right? Nothing seems impossible. However, as we take serious step into investing in overseas market, I wish to put in a simple question to all investors out there. Have you ever visited Cambodia? If you have not, then I think you must before you invest, okay? Let me illustrate how to identify this stability, all right? Myself as a professional in this field, I exercise a grounded approach towards my investment interest, and it has paid good dividends, okay, believe me, for many of my investors. Because seeing is believing, okay, they always say that. Huh? So trust me, Cambodia growth is so fast moving that it is literally on steroid, you know what I mean? So the pool of Asia, Cambodia, has a growing population of over 16.3 million people. Okay, the capital city of Phnom Penh is about close to 3 million residents, taking up jobs and services, powering the growth of the economy. Majority are low-income earners, and enjoying better living conditions. So they appreciate what they have. Of course, we all understand they have a very sad past. Very unfortunate. So you must like to know the constant robust economic growth has generated prosperity, okay, to so many, and the wealthy has obviously become very wealthy. Cambodia business community of today receive good education in management, forward thinking, hungry for growth, and I know many aspiring young executives have burning desire to be successful, and not to forget a stable and progressive government that enjoy diplomatic cooperation and goodwill with many countries. Okay, so that's the reason why Cambodia is, having such a robust growth. Okay, for the last 2 decades. Now this is real, okay, my friend. If we look back Singapore back then, when Lee Kuan Yew opened up the world and start bringing in the Taiwanese and the Japanese and the German, I still remember those days. We used to have TV from German, right? German, and this is what it is, foreign direct investment. Okay, so these are so important. So if you go and see Cambodia, you will actually see a lot of things. Okay, see a lot of things that you can connect with, the growing stages of Singapore. So use that as a reflection. Since I'm talking in the context of with the Singapore audience here, use that as a point of reference. Okay, then you'll be able to see the significant strength that you can actually trade off. In understanding that very quickly. Now, so once you have visited Cambodia, you will have a strong sense of direction, and your bearing will quickly appreciate the investment opportunity and their potential. So earlier on I mentioned about being internet savvy and the resourceful Google, of course, being one of the key of the world. Convenient unlock. Available, providing you with all kind of information day and night. But in general, investor often will search out on Cambodia, and I tell you sometimes it's a bit not fair. I use the word not fair. You'll find that there are story about the 1967 to 1975 Cambodia Civil War. Okay, these are some of the stories that will pop up. So unfortunately, no one can change history. All right, Clarence. Years of suffering has crippled its people and its country. I feel for them. But I'm not here to sugarcoat the past happening or anything like that. All right, I'm not an expert on history. But maybe the Vietnam War, the Myanmar fight on human rights, or China-American trade war, or even the vaccine, which one is the best to use and which one you want to put in your arm, I tell you, whatever it is, okay? In these few years, we can see there's a lot of positive news coming out in the region. Cambodia, Vietnam, Thailand, and whatever, Laos even. There's a lot of positive news coming out, okay? So we just have to pay attention to the positive news and do our own little research and perhaps have a chat with some people that really know the business there. Okay, so I take the liberty to quote His Excellency Ho Mani. I remember during the time we visit Johns Hopkins University, in his speech he say, "Let's not dwell in the past, but also not forget the past." So how meaningful and profound are those words, Okay, he is a outstanding leader. Okay, government official. Of course, he's a son of the Hun Sen, Prime Minister Hun Sen. So if you are a savvy investor and seeking growing opportunity in the financial growth in any emerging economy in Asia, you will surely need to come to terms, okay, with this history. You need to come to terms with history, good or bad. That's it, okay? Because that is history, right, Clarence? But what we are looking at, we're looking at the future. Okay, if we keep on looking at history, we'll never turn the pages, and therefore we'll never have a chance to move forward. Okay, so I want to set you in the right frame of mind. Okay, the audience tonight, we all have to be on the same page. Then we can say, okay, now we can put this aside. Now let's focus and understand that we are living in current times, and it's important that we are all on the same page. And like I say, changing times need changing minds. So hopefully we are all on the same page. Okay. So on a positive note, I personally think that we are on a new page of history. It's being written by Cambodian for Cambodia today.
Yes.
Okay, seriously. And it's focused on the rebuilding of the country. So that's why you can see that if you visit Cambodia, you can see that there's so much energy, busting, always on the go, always ready to help you, always ready to give you service. So this is so important, all right? So with that understanding, you start to say, okay, now there are a lot of things you can do in Cambodia. There are especially the farming industry. Okay, farming industry, IT services. These are things that are supporting the growth of the country. Okay, but do not do it on your own, or just simply engage in a local, with a flashy calling cards, over a cup of coffee. You have to consult with the right people. All right, Clarence, and it pays. They always say it pays to get result. Okay, one coffee doesn't pay, You gotta engage somebody seriously, to do work for you, to help you, to guide you, to give you good service. Okay, coffee doesn't pay, one lunch doesn't pay. So these are the things that we all have to understand. They need us, we need them. So work together, see the value, and start to work together. All right. So if you're serious about financial wealth creation, okay, you have no option. All right, you need to invest. So money sitting in the bank is not gonna cut it, or you're not gonna get a better return out there. Correct?
That's true. That's so true. Money is getting smaller. And
it's too small, my friend.
Yeah. Okay, another question in your personal experience and observation, and how would you say is in Cambodia in terms of political climax, stability, GDP, influx of FDI, economy growth, and risk of doing business?
Wow. Risk does exist, okay? Let me be upfront. Risk does exist, but you understand risk, you can manage it better, all right? Nobody is risk proof, okay? But there's no perfect country or perfect system, trust me. There's no such thing. I always say system is created by men, but you have to be followed by men, okay? So don't blame the system not working. You know, it's like traffic light. If you cross the traffic light, you're in trouble, okay, when the light is red. So that is why you have to work with qualified professional, okay? That's number one. So again, visit, go for a trip, spend some money, support the local tourism industry, have a talk to expert on the ground and people that are in the industry and you will be rewarded with good knowledge. For sure, okay? Because the more you talk to, I still remember 10 years, 11 years ago, the first few trips, somebody will say that they know somebody and somebody will know somebody and somebody can give me advice to help me with something. You know, as I go more and more trips, people realize that I know more and more people. Ultimately, the people that talk to me disappeared. Why? Because they know I know people who knows their people. I don't know whether you understand what I mean or not, but it's a change reaction, okay? Yeah. But in a good way, okay? So, however, please, you ask as long as you ask the right question, right people, but don't ask a fishmonger how to catch a fish, okay? Even though he's selling a fish, or the doctor which apartment to buy or which country to invest, he doesn't know that, you know. I mean, a doctor doesn't know all that thing, okay? So. In a political and economic climate, I would say that if you want to look at it, I think many foreign firms noted that Cambodia offer a stable economy and political environment. That's why the country is growing so fast. And much appreciation is also shared on the pro-business attitude of the government. That one you must give it to them. They really mean it. You know, they are really very serious about growing the economy. And the business committee consensus is that the government is committed, okay, to helping investor, domestic as well as foreigner, to make their business work. So this is something whereby you can understand with a very open government in terms of helping investor. More investor will definitely feel more welcome and they will work towards the contribution of the country, isn't it? So the government also often have dialogue. As you can see from my video, I visited the investment so-called association to have a little bit of chit-chat understanding and have a bit of a dialogue regarding what investors like to do and how they can go about doing it. So that video explained a lot of things, okay? It's a bit lengthy, but it covers all the important points because I travel widely in Cambodia, not only the Phnom Penh city, but also Sihanoukville and Kampok, and I deal with resource minerals, stuff like that as well, and selling of land and blah blah blah, you know. So there's a bit of things to do there. So, but there's a what we call, you know, the stability part comes in, okay? The economy stable part comes in because the current foreign investment policy, as you know, that the foreign investment policy in Cambodia has been formulated to meet challenges on the broad shift from century plan to market-orientated economy. All sectors are open, okay, to foreign investment, except those related to national security, all right? You obviously cannot touch that. But there's no restriction in general to place the foreign share or ownership. I even help people to acquire casino license, okay? So that is something whereby it used to be very popular. Okay, so the Kingdom of Wonder has a very pro-business government, that's number one. And the country also has a low-cost base for setting up factory. That's why you can see that it has exported quite a lot. Sometimes you go to the shopping center, you can find that their shirt is made by sea, which is actually Cambodia. So this has attracted many foreign investment. The progress and wealth of the last decade is visible, okay, in the changing skyline of Phnom Penh city. All right, so the Cambodia economy is forecast to grow around 4% this year, and maybe 5.5% in 2020. This is all projection by the Asian Development Bank, okay? So it is not something that I cook up, okay? Because the economy recovery in major trading partners, and they definitely will boost all this demand for the kingdom export. So this will be very impressive, okay? Recovery to the extent. But the other key element that we want to talk about here is also, Clarence, is the Asian powerhouse. Now, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, as you know, ASEAN, okay, it was established in 8 August 1967, and Cambodia joined in 1999, making up what is today, I think, is the 10-member state, right? So ASEAN role is to promote active collaboration, mutual assistance on matters of common interest: economic, social, culture, technical, scientific, administrative field, as well as to accelerate the regional economic growth. Now, having said all that, you ask yourself, this is a broad base. This is a broad base support. There's a whole ecosystem in there. Okay, so these are important. It's like the bigger roles of ASEAN coming together to support each other for common benefit and common growth. So it's a collective nation that delivers a bigger market. When I travel in Southeast Asia, sometimes people ask me, says, well, Philip, I see you jumping from one country to another. You know what I mean? Today you're here, and tomorrow you're in Thailand, and the next day you're in Vietnam, and the next afternoon I see you in Cambodia. They say, how you manage to understand all these places? And I told them, to me, the whole Southeast Asia region, all right, it is not a country. I can be in Cambodia this afternoon, or I can be in Bangkok, Chatuchak the next Saturday morning, whatever it is. At the end of the day, Clarence, this whole region to me is one single market. One single market. Yes, of course, they have different culture and that, but however, it's still one single market. Okay, because we cannot possibly do everything in one country or invest everything in that country. We pick and choose which is best. So therefore, to me, it's quite comforting to look at it this way, that the whole lot of the Southeast Asia region is one country. So one big market for me. So I love it. Okay, I love it. Southeast Asia with a population of close to 650 million people. ASEAN is currently the third largest economy in the Indo-Pacific and has a combined GDP of close to $2.8 trillion. Okay, now this is, of course, ASEAN currently also have regional free trade arrangement with Australia, New Zealand, China, Japan, South Korea, India. So that's the reason why early on I bring Australia into the picture, so that you can actually see that Australia is also participating in the collective effort of a trade and a partnership, with the region in Southeast Asia. Okay, and this is important because it's believed that currently it's the fourth largest export market. Okay, and soon enough in 2050 it will become the fourth. Okay, the fourth largest economy in the world. So this is really something that for us to take note. Okay, and it's ready to support the foreign investment with sound economic and trade policy, massive infrastructure development. These are the things that are joint government working framework, ensuring the viable investment climate. They are some of the positive in moving forward and maintaining the progress of ASEAN. So that stability engine is so important, okay? So important. You know who supported you for growth, okay? Who is participating in your growth, okay? And the country has a young, ready workforce. They are able to communicate English, Chinese, and ready to take up jobs in factories and offices. And these are some of the plus points, that you can anchor the foreign investment firmly into Cambodia, right? It's how hard it is when a company wants to set up a factory and they don't have enough workers. So these are things that Singapore has gone through before, and we know how tough it is, okay? So it's a blessing. Cambodia has all that, plenty of that, and it's available. It's available, well-trained, knowledgeable. And these are the things that the government is so open about doing business. And they deliver standard, and I'm very happy about that. So what do you think, Clarence?
Very good. But okay, one more question for you anyway. Okay, besides properties, what other areas of possible investment do Cambodia has to offer?
Okay, so if I were like Maybank, okay, Maybank in 1993 is the first bank to actually enter into Cambodia. 1993, all right. I don't know what you're doing in 1993, but definitely, if I know, I would have gone with Maybank to Cambodia. So if it's not good, then probably Maybank would have gone home. You know what I mean? But so if you look at all that, The banking sector, of course, obviously support a lot of people who want to develop the country, right? So tourism, okay, tourism dollar is very important. So tourism is one of the biggest earner in Cambodia. You know, yeah, they used to top earner, and given its location in Southeast Asia, it's also very booming. Okay, because people go to neighboring Thailand and so on and so forth. They do come across and cut into Cambodia because they are so close to each other, huh? And Vietnam, right? So with tourism, you can actually have the need for infrastructure development. It's very important, you know, hotels, route, highway, and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? And so this help FDI, okay, investment. Like earlier on, we are talking about FDI, right? So of course, then again, if we are, you know, I got a friend from Australia. He actually acquired big scale of land for agriculture. So he's going cashew nut, you know, for export, you know. So to me, it's wow. And another guy that I know, he's actually have a mango plantation, because mango is very popular, you know, for Cambodia as well as Vietnamese, right? And Thailand, you know, mango salad and all that. So these are the things they love to do, you know. So there you go, you know, agriculture. All right, it's very good because land are cheap and plenty of that, and the soil is very fertile, so you can do all that. Of course, other than that, there are new shopping center coming out, the Aeon 3, yeah, mega shopping mall. So these are the things that you can actually go in, you know, can do a retail business. But I also say that mining, if you have the money and you have the resource, mining is also very good. Additional, the government has implemented a policy that aim at attracting foreign direct investment into this area. They even have a tax incentive, all right, for people who want to go into big industry like mining. Okay, so but the government also set up what they call the Council for Development, CDC. Okay, it's a one-stop facilitator for foreigners and local investors. So this government has regard itself as a partner, okay, of the private sector, not as a competitors. So in a general strategy to support the development of a private sector as the prime motive force in achieving the economic growth and providing the underpinning of sustained poverty reduction. So they you know, they work very hard, okay, to so-called, in a way, slowly move it to middle income status. Okay, so these are the things that Cambodia is looking out for these people. And the government also not only interested in to work with China, they also have trading partners, you know, other people like the Australia, US, Japan, Korea, Singapore, and these have enjoying a very strong relationship, and it's well cemented with Cambodia. So if we are going into this business of hotel, hospitality, restaurant business, these are good business. You know, mining, like I mentioned, agriculture, tourism. Now, tourism, sometimes we only talking about Angkor Wat, you know, oh, they only have Angkor Wat, you know, or maybe some royal temple or that. But actually, it's not true. They have much more. I believe there's a lot of hidden treasure in the forest, you know, because it's a very densely populated forest, you know, in Cambodia, isn't it? So I was told, you know, some of my friends that say they even have so much undiscovered treasure, you know, in the forest. So who knows? So with further growth of the country, we will see more discovery, and there will be more exciting tourism spot, you know. Yeah, Siem Reap. Yeah, Siem Reap is a good place. Siem Reap, if you're in Siem Reap, it's a good place to invest as well. Okay, early on you see the pictures that I show you is Kampok. Kampok is good. Kampok is actually used to be a French occupation. Yeah, French used to occupy the area. The French, and then they are sea salt. Yeah, you can sea salt farming. That's good as well. I even helped an investor once, clearance to acquire a mountain.
Oh.
Okay, granite. Okay, because these are commodities, you know what I mean? Yeah, because Cambodia is growing so fast. You need all that. You need granite, you need cement, you need bricks, you need wood, you know, you need all that, right? So today, as you know, the building material, there's no stock. Okay, you know, it's really in big demand now. Okay, so there's a lot of things that we can look at. Okay. But whatever it is, okay, if you want the first one who move in, then obviously the opportunities available to you is plenty, and with the right people and the professionals to support your interests, you can do it. You look at Dubai, you know, Dubai in those days, you know, it's desert, right?
Yes.
What makes people go to Dubai and build Dubai? You tell me why. Not because they like the Arab or they like the sand. No, because of the policy. The policy that is encouraging the investment climate is good. The pro business government, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Welcome people to come and build the economy. So this is the same facts that can actually happen. Almost the same pattern. All right, but this time we're talking about Cambodia. So it is. So I do encourage even ladies. Okay, I encourage ladies to go in to give it a go, venture. Because there's a lot of successful Cambodian business lady that I know. They are very successful. They are actually one of the engine, for growth. They are leaders, in the areas of economy and very entrepreneurial spirit. So perhaps some Singapore business lady might want to go in and do some partnership. As you know, one of our speaker Angie, she ventured into Cambodia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Philip Tan, for a wonderful insight of Cambodia market. Now is before I introduce our second speaker, let's share about this wonderful, successful entrepreneur. Ms. Angie Chew, a co-founder of SAA Group, having over 25 years of experience and running her own Conscientious Business Private Limited since the year 2000. She established herself well in overseas market, one of the leading Singapore real estate consultants doing consultancy works with overseas agency. ConsensusBiz Private Limited has more than 100 associates networked in not only Singapore, but also strongly in Malaysia, Indonesia, Cambodia, and Philippines, both Singapore properties and their country properties. Angie's forte lies in project consultancy and marketing. She is a brilliant leader and a trainer as well. She does training and recruitment for developers too. Her smile, her perseverance, her hard work and motivation has always won over her partner, her clients, and those who had ever worked with her. Champion in her leadership skill and drive others to success first above self-personality. Angie herself is well-known for being an investor, and she had built many of her overseas real estate portfolio for years. Her client builds multiple real estate portfolio over the years through her growth and growing their wealth alongside with her. Angie is well known in providing comprehensive portfolio of services such as project marketing, commercial and sales and leasing, corporate residential services, and residential sales and leasing. Can't wait to have her present for us this last segment. Let's welcome Miss Angie Chew.
Thank you, Clarence. Thank you for having me here tonight. I have really enjoyed such a wonderful introduction presentation by Philip. Okay, right now I am, before I go ahead, let me share with you my disclaimer. Okay, so before I go ahead, let me set in a disclaimer. This presentation is prepared in my personal capacity. The opinion expressed in this presentation are personal and do not reflect the view of others. So we have made every attempt to ensure that the information contained in this presentation are from reliable sources. However, we are not responsible for any error and omissions. Okay, today we have a very interesting topic about investing into Cambodia. So Philip has shared with us why we invest and what are the business opportunities in Cambodia. Right now, I would like to share with you, if you are going into Cambodia, there are certain, before investing, there are certain important points that investor or buyers need to look into. Okay, so let's share today with you about the legal titles, okay, of the law, the laws of the private ownership. Okay, so in 1975 to 1979, most of the Cambodian titles, property titles are destroyed. So it is very difficult for people to follow up who are the legal owners. So in 1992, the law started to be passed down, okay, allowing Cambodian to own private over their properties. So by 2001, okay, the Cambodian law takes effective, okay, and it gives the Cambodian a way to actually own land, okay, with proper titles. So there are three forms of titles that we like to share with. First is the soft title, which is a form of documentation of possession. The other one is a hard title, which is a certificate of title that is issued at the national level. The next form is a strata title that comes in by the law of 2010, okay, with foreigners able to own properties in Cambodia. Okay, then thereafter the law has passed down and has improved. Okay, so because of the wake of the tragic case in Sihanouk View in June 2019, a new law is being passed. Okay, so these new construction laws comes in to better regulate the construction industry. Okay, it gives insight more on the requirements of the construction contracts, the strengthening of the permits and the responsibility and the liabilities. Okay, this comes in to protect the consumer and to protect so that the builder, what the builder need is to get proper issuance of the permit before they can start the project. They have to have a permit that within once the permit is issued, they have to start building within 1 year. So these are the kind of things that investors need to take note of before they start investing into Cambodia. It's because the law itself today has improved very much from the day of 10 years ago to now. It is very much fully being advanced. Okay, so let's look into can foreigner direct purchase real estate in Cambodia? Okay, so this is a very interesting topic, is that now that a lot of foreigners are interested in investing into Cambodia. So many of my friends start to ask me, how do we actually own a land title in Cambodia? So we know that foreigner cannot own land. Okay, so it is by acquiring property ownership can be through a few different alternatives. That is one, by the company structure. You can actually incorporate a company with a 51% Cambodian and a 49% foreigner. Another way is by way of nominee structure. Nominee structure meaning that you have a Cambodian representative which assists you to own the company. Okay. Another way is by Cambodia, by acquiring Cambodia citizenship. Okay, so as we know that they have a national law in 1996 that enables foreigners to actually acquire Cambodia citizenship. Okay, as long as you have a 7 years residency, okay, you can go by way of long-term to convert into a Cambodian, or if you are born in Cambodia, it takes about 3 years for the conversion, or it can be by way of donation to the state's treasury. So there are ways of acquiring into a Cambodian citizenship. So with this citizenship, you are actually grant with the same concession or a certain benefits that Cambodian nationals have, like you can actually own lands, okay, and or you can actually acquire some kind of concession from the government. Okay, the other way is by way of economic social concession. That is the ECL, which is mainly for the agriculture land, mainly for investor foreigners who are interested in doing business. They normally generally is for agriculture land or industrial purposes. Okay, the another form is by investing into a long-term lease. Okay, what do we mean by long-term lease is that Cambodia do give short-term lease like over 15 years, or about long-term lease up to 50 years. So this is a form that foreigners can acquire the property ownership. But bear in mind, foreigners are not able to actually own the land. Okay, like Singapore. The case is like Singapore. Okay, so then a lot of people say, how do we ensure our purchase in Cambodia? So we are doing a lot of marketing in Singapore, and a lot of our friends are interested to know, how do we actually ensure that our purchase, okay, and our investment is in the right setting. Okay, so there are some due diligence that we have to do. We always say the 5 crucial legal documents. Okay, the 5 legal documents that we need to check before we actually enter into agreement of any sales and purchase. That is, one is the hard title of the land of development. The other one is the registration, the tax registration, the incorporation of the developer company, and also whether they have a property development license, and whether they have obtained the certificate of permit and the construction permit. These are the important legal documents that one have to verify against the legitimacy, and also whether it is a legal documents, is the right documents before we actually enter into buying any form of properties in Cambodia. So there are different kind of titles. Okay, so let me explain to you what are the different types of titles that we have in Cambodia. One that is the hard title. The hard title is actually one that is issued by the national level, in the national level, and also it is a very safe kind of title. Okay, so this is issued with a certificate that contains the details of the project. As you see here, this is a sample. Okay, it gives the size of the land, the owner, the size, the location. Okay, so this is the hard title that you can recognize that is one of the important document in acquiring a land. So the other type is a soft title. The soft title is a customary type of ownership, and this kind of ownership is mainly issued at the district or a communal level. And this usually can be, over time, can be converted into a hard title too. Okay, so soft title are actually a form of possession, a letter of possession. Okay, so the other type that we can see is called the LMAP titles. LMAP refers to land management and administration project titles. Okay, this title is improvement on the hard titles, in the sense that it also define the property's boundaries, and also it has been measured by official, and the borders has been agreed upon. So it has the exact GPS kind of coordinations for the said property. So this property is one of the latest, and is also a most secured form of the hard title. Okay, the other form of the certificate is the strata title type. The strata title is issued in 2010. Okay, this law has passed that foreigners can actually co-own a building. Okay, so foreigners co-own a building up to 70%, which 30% must be owned by the Cambodian national. So being said that, again, we cannot, foreigners cannot own the land, but can only buy above the first level. Okay, so strata title can be issued to foreigner to allow them to stay in Cambodia, to allow expats to actually own for business purposes like commercial properties, industrial properties, or the residential properties. So this form of ownership is being issued to spur the foreigner investment in Cambodia, right? So like what I have said, the 5 important documents that includes the company registration, the patent certificate to confirm that the legal owner of the property, of the land title, and also that they have registered with the government, right? And then they have to have a property development license. Okay, so this license allow them to transact, allow them to have the permit, okay, to sell or to develop the title, and also to have the permit of the certificate of permit. This is to ensure that the architectural plans and all the engineering plans and the construction plans are submitted to the relevant authorities. And construction permit is to assist on the assessment of the environment, assist in the planning of the building, and also the planning of the drainage, water drainage system, to ensure that the environment, how does the construction will be impacting the environment or boundaries around the location. So these 5 permits must be there before the developer can actually start to market or to start to sell the property to a foreigner. Okay, so what are the property related tax and costs for buying a property in Cambodia? So the related cost is that we see so far is the tax transfer of tax, which we call in Singapore stamp duty tax. So stamp duty tax are payable upon handover. Okay, it's different from Singapore where we pay 2 weeks after we exercise. This is payable upon handover, which is 4% of the condo value. Then the other one is the annual property tax. Okay, the property tax is around 0.1%. Let's say you buy a condominiums of 100,000, you need to pay $100 per year. So this is the property tax. And rental income tax. If you have a renter from your condominiums, you need to pay about 14% for the tax as a foreigner. So if you are a Cambodian, you pay 10%. But if you are a foreigner, you pay 14% annually. So gain tax, the property gain, they do have property gain tax, but it's postponed to 2022, to start in 2022, okay, due to the pandemic. So the government has pushed the capital gain tax to start off in the year 2022. So capital gain tax is 20%. So important point is that how does the foreigner ensure, okay, that they become the legal owner? So once you have the handover, there is an important point that the hard title from the developer that you need to transfer to the buyer. Okay, the strata title, to issue the strata title. So let's understand that from the day that is a project is handover, okay, so you need to you will receive a notice first from the developer. The notice will tell you about what is your outstanding amount, the final payment, and also the documents from the developer and the actual date and time of the handover. And then the related cost is that they need to set individual strata title to be transferred to each unique owner. The transfer tax is about 4%. It's 4%. Then there is a service, public service fee of transfer estimating around 1,000 to 1,002, depends on the size of the project. Then also they will request upon the maintenance fee. Okay, the maintenance fee is around $1 per square meter for condominiums. For commercial titles, they are more expensive, about $4. Okay, then they will update you on the developer bank account for collection. Okay, so what we need to prepare for the hard title conversion into the individual strata title is the identity of the owner. You need to prepare photographs, you need to prepare the owner's particulars and details, and proof of relationship. If you buy this together with your children, or you buy this together with your husband, you need to your spouse, you need to proof of marriage cert. If you buy with your children, you need to prove of the birth cert of the children that prove the relationship. So a lot of people ask me, if let's say I buy a property in Cambodia, so during the handover and the transfer of the hard title, do I need to be there personally? Yes, you need to be there upon the handover date. You need to be there personally to do this transfer of title from the developer to your name. You need to be present at the land Ministry of Land Title. But the problem is because today is a pandemic. So because of the pandemic, COVID-19, so we do have handover at this timing, on this special timing, that we do not require owner to personally fly over to deal with the handover. So a power attorney is then needed for the assistance to do the transfer. Okay, so from here, I would like to share with everybody, those who are investor, be it that you are investor or be it you are an agent that you want to market a foreign property. So today's society is digitalization. So selling overseas project need not to be so much difficult, like what Philip has shared just now, that a lot of things that is very open and it's very transparent today. So we actually need to know. So this course from IEA, the certificate course in marketing of foreign properties, is very important, okay, as a basic guideline to all investors. Even if you do not want to sell overseas property, it's good to know that the environment, this course will tell you about the guidelines into the environment, the economies, the culture, the legal system. So these are the important things that we need to know as investor, okay? Or even that you want to market overseas projects, this is a course that I would strongly recommend. So from here, I thanks IEA for having me here, and then National Day is on 9th of August. I wish everybody a very happy National Day. Thank you. I pass back to Clarence. Yeah.
Thank you, Angie, for your wonderful sharing. Yes, indeed.
Thank you, Angie.
Yes, indeed. That this is a very good cause that benefited a lot of realtors. If realtors that have desire to go into overseas project and all these things, do look up to IEA and log into the website and see the course and sort of register. Okay, and there's a question that from the floor to Angie.
Oh, yes.
Okay, they mentioned is that what would you say will be the total estimate cost for a buyer, okay, of a condo unit in Cambodia? Stamp duty, legal fees, administration fees, transfer fees, etc.
Yes. This is a very important, interesting questions. Is because we need to understand the fees that is related when we want to buy or invest in a property in Cambodia. The first one that we say is the stamp duty. The stamp duty is called a transfer fee, which is around 4%. Then we need to understand that is just now what I have said, an annual tax, property tax of 0.1% of the value. And the other one is the management and sinking fund, which is around $1 per square meter per month. And we also need to buy an insurance on the property, which is around $2 per square meter per year. Okay. Other than that, the electricity and the utilities is depending on the property itself. So while buying a property, these are the costs that you need to know. Yes.
Okay, now the second question is that how long must I hold onto a property before I'm allowed to sell it, a minimum holding period, and what are the taxes that the seller has to pay?
Okay, this question, it says that a lot of my friends, when they buy the property in Cambodia, they ask me the same type of question: how long must I hold it? So this is very interesting because Cambodia doesn't have a minimum limitations. That means have a time limitation that you can sell, but then have to understand that as long as you are the legal owner. You can do the transfer. Okay. Or other than that, if let's say you have an agreement with the developer that you can actually sell before the completion time. Okay, so this is stipulated in your SPA. Yes, you can sell before it's even completed. Okay, so this is the for market practice lah. For market practice in Cambodia is that as long as the development is more than 80% sold. Okay, so at least there is a period of 12 months after you have signed the SPA, you are allowed to sell the property. Yes.
Okay, another question.
Yes.
Can you advise about the law on foreigners owning properties only from first floor up with reference to 2010 law provision of ownership rights?
Yes, this in 2010, they have a law that allows foreigner to actually buy foreign properties. So we cannot own land. So likewise, they also buy you from owning the first level, the ground level, and the first level. So as long as we buy above the first level, okay, we are as for foreigner, you can actually invest and then own the title as a hard title, as a freehold property. Okay, so this is one of the we call co-owner of a building. Okay, and but one requirement is that the development need to be 30% owned by the Cambodian national, 70% can be owned by foreigners.
I see. Okay, another question for you. What is the difference between a soft title and a hard title?
Okay, like what I have said, a soft title is a form of certificate. It is not a certificate. It's actually a letter of possession that is issued in the district and this communal level. It is not at the national level. Okay, so it is just like a soft, just like a title to you to do it within the stipulated time. And if the government decided to acquire the land, you have to actually return back lah. So we call it leasehold. We can associate with Singapore leasehold. Okay, whereas the hard title is a different form. Hard title is a title, okay, is a certificate of title that contains the owner's details, the building register at the national level. Okay, and it is hard title is equivalent to our freehold. Okay, and then hard title of land cannot be owned by a foreigner. Okay, so a lot of people misunderstand the meaning of hard title. Oh, I want to buy hard title because it's freehold. But bear in mind, we cannot buy, as foreigner, we cannot buy into hard title land unless we convert ourselves into Cambodian. All right, and what we can own is the co-ownership, that is the strata title. Okay, as a foreigner.
Yeah, there's a question raised.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me see the King Chow. Yes. Let me see the question. Someone raised question. Wait, let me see.
Okay.
Ken, okay. Building maintenance is essential in sustaining the building utility and thereby its market value, as deterioration usually starts to set in rapidly even before its completion. What measures are there in Phnom Penh in the provision and or availability of services related to building maintenance and management?
Okay, so for building maintenance, as what we say, that the law, the recent law of 2019 sets in, okay, for the construction law. So this construction law actually to enhance to sustain the building in a way that it is more built in a more quality form. Okay, so by non-pen provisions and availability of services that the government has, is that we have a fund that is called the management fund. The management fund is, and the sinking fund is used to take care of the building itself. Yes.
Okay, and there's one more question comes up. You see, and how does any free trade agreement impacts investors, buyers who are foreigners?
Okay, free trade investment. Free trade is a FTA, which is Cambodia has with a lot of countries like Singapore, China, Korean, and even Japan. Okay, so this free trade agreement actually reduces or given a zero tariff for imports and export. So it greatly helps in terms of inviting more foreign direct investment into Cambodia. This is a very important factor. That's why Cambodia is very good. The relationship between the countries, like just now what Philip has said, the 10 ASEAN countries, okay, plus China, the relationship has given itself into a lot of free trade agreement between many different countries to actually bring in a lot of foreign investment. Yeah.
Okay, there's another interesting question is it true that now foreigners are allowed to buy landed property through a trust?
Yes, now we have more or less a lot of our foreigner friends, they invest through a trust. A trust fund like Canna Trust Fund that is run by the Fang Qiaosen, the Canadian Bank chairman. Okay, so this allows the property title to be bought over by the trust and the beneficiary as a foreigner. So this allows the foreigner to develop the land while is held by a trust company. Yeah.
Okay,
so it's very common practice. Yeah, it's a very common practice. Yeah.
Okay, there's another one interesting that they ask is that how are properties in the economic zones different from those not within the zones?
Okay, Cambodia has 54 types of special economic zone. We call it the SEZ. Okay, this economic zone is actually set to give special tax exemption, better tax services. So these properties are mainly, we talk about industrial, maybe commercial. Okay, so this property, of course, with the investment, with a lot of foreign investment, of course the land here will be more expensive than the one that is not within. Okay.
Okay, there's another reply from Ken. He said,
Yes.
who manage the maintenance and sinking funds, by the developer or the separate professional firm?
Of course, there is a property management firm, okay, usually by CBRE or Knight Frank in Cambodia, that we can see that they engage very strong property management to actually run the whole building. Yeah.
Okay, so just waiting for question from the floor. I will check the Facebook whether any questions been asked. IEA side, any question from
the Facebook side? There's a question asked on defects when you buy a property in Cambodia. Right, in Singapore, you buy a property, the developer will guarantee you any defect for 12 months. How about the defects guaranteed in Cambodia?
Of course, there is this defects guarantee by the developer. Usually it's about 12 months, same as Singapore, but the structural liabilities guarantee is about 5 years, 5 to 10 years. That depends on the developer. Yes. When you sign the SPA, it's all stipulated in the sales and purchase agreement.
So would you say it's a common practice that the guarantee for defects is for 5 years or just structurally?
The inbuilt, for the normal defect liabilities within your own premise is 1 year, okay, but the structural is 5 years.
Personally, I have a question. Well, in Cambodia, it's a big country. Are there weaknesses in legislation and enforcement surrounding property development? Are there any weakness there? Whether some developer will operate with little transparency or accountability, so that as a buyer, I need to do my due diligence. But who actually go and look after in terms of legislation and enforcement for these property developers?
Philip, you want to take the question?
I was looking at Philip to answer the question.
Well, I think Angie has been answering all the questions pretty well. Well, earlier on, I mentioned that there is such a department called the CDC, right? So CDC actually is a very important policing body in a way, if you want to call it. So they look after, before you can get licensed to operate, okay, you have to, of course, get approval from the CDC as well, okay? Then if you even, what Angie was talking about, the special economic zone, even that, for you to enjoy the incentive or tax benefit or whatsoever a government so-called offers to you for foreign direct investment, you also have to qualify that under the CDC arrangement, okay? So there is a body looking at it. And the last so-called incident in Sihanouk View, which is very unfortunate. This actually is a welcoming thing in a way. Of course, it's unfortunate that the lives are being lost. But it is important to set this into its right perspective of understanding that regulation has to come in. So there are a lot of reforms, okay, that need to be achieved in the legal and juridical reform. Foreign investment are obviously very convinced, that the royal government are committed to this reform process itself. So the country's commitment to market economy is definitely there for sure, Jeff. So will there be somebody that look after all these things? Yes, of course there will be. Okay. So the detail, I'm not too sure which department actually handles that. All right. But however, there is such a body being looked into that. Okay. But one of the main thing is that you must know that CDC is very serious about all these things. Okay, and they are the so-called authority in the whole investment aspect of people coming in. They are not about to let you ruin Cambodia's goodwill. That I can assure you.
Maybe another question for Philip. In terms of construction costs, is there a vast difference between residential project, industrial project, or commercial projects? In terms of construction costs, do you have any inclination on what sort of construction costs that will take? Because I understand in Cambodia, they also have construction contractors who are local, contractors who are foreigner. They also got construction materials that are local, and there are also imported materials from different construction company. So it's quite a big picture, if you look at construction, you have to look after the cost, you have to look after the material, then you have to look about expertise, whether it's local contractor or foreign contractor. So yes, if I look at the big picture, Cambodia is very pro-business, but I also worry about the risks involved.
Well, I think you're so right, Jeff. Like I say, which country don't have risk? System is created by people. It has to be followed by people. Government is also people. Business people is also people. So at the end of the day, what we must understand is if we want to go and buy a apartment, that's for example, right? Why some apartment have 13 awards and others have none? You ask yourself this question. Okay, if I'm an investor, if I want to buy into an apartment or into a commercial office, first question I ask myself, who is the developer? Okay, because the developer itself is the start of everything. From the designing, architecture, planning, everything, so on and so forth. They must have what NG say, the proper paperwork. If they don't have the proper paperwork, then why are we worrying about where the door come from or where the floor is made in? I think that's irrelevant to me to that extent, okay? Because we are investor and we are coming into this country to benefit from its growth, and also we are seeking opportunity to stretch our dollar a little bit longer, so that we can make some money, and that is being practical about how we approach this market, okay? If we ask ourselves that we are not confident, okay, about this development, then obviously, you can set second opinion. You can actually ask a private surveyor. Okay, there's a lot of architecture firm in there, international architecture firm, surveyor firm. I know some developer, they use international surveyor because they don't believe in themselves doing it. So they want a third party who comes in to qualify. Okay, so these are the standard that is fast becoming the normal standard. Okay, so it's not because that Cambodia is a growing economy or developing economy. They are not concerned about this. It is not so much whether Cambodia is concerned. It is the interest of the international market. Cambodia thrives on the growth and support of the international market. Correct? So therefore, why I say that Cambodia itself plus the rest of the region, to me, is one big market. It's not one country. Collectively, they pull the 600 million people. They will correct the amount of resource and interest from the rest of the region. If I have a crystal ball, I will obviously, or I listen to a lot of IEA talk or whatsoever. I'll be very fortunate to understand the point that actually point to which direction of the growth, and quickly jump into it, right? So, but Cambodia is rapidly changing, as a society, but they also represent a lot of opportunities for prudent investor. Tourism is being one of them. We go and have a holiday, we live in good hotel, and we can appreciate that, huh? And it's not very expensive anyway. But more international brands are coming, okay, as we speak. So think about it. If today the Cambodia has such a golden opportunity to invest, then I guess the window of opportunity is open to you and the rest of the world. So we are going in, investing into this country. We obviously will ask intelligent questions whereby they have to give us the right answer before we can put the money. Correct? Right. So this is not a speculation, or this is not forcing somebody to do something that we do not want. So why we are talking about investment in Cambodia? Because too many times they talk about Cambodia as a country that is growing fast, but people tend to confuse themselves how to approach this market. What is the thing that I mentioned about stability, the economy stability, the sustainability of the government? These are very important. Cambodia's government will have great vision. If they don't have great vision, we do not have what they call the Diamond Island, which is called Kopik, the reclaimed land, NG. You know what I mean? We will not see all that. And that is almost like Singapore Fullerton area, Marina Square area. How beautiful it is, right?
Very well,
So
very well planned.
Exactly. It's all prime location. If they can think of something like that, what is licensing and all that? Don't forget, I think there's a lot of co-share values between Singapore, Malaysia, people in the administration, people in the government, helping each other to legislate new policy. Of course, working towards their culture and local condition, right? To make sure that it is up to that, what we call BCA, Building Construction Authority in Singapore, I still remember that. I think it still exists, BCA standard, right? So I think, Jeff, that's how the region is moving itself into, okay? Because it's so close, everybody know each other, and they want everybody to conform to the same standard in order to stay relevant. That's how I see it. I hope I answered the question, right?
Yep.
I think, Philip, there's a question for you. Is that what prospects are there for estate management practices in PP, Phnom Penh? Does Propnex Cambodia provide such services currently? And if not, why?
Well, I think it's too early to say whether Propnex provides such service or not. But I personally, from an Australia point of view, I understand that even Australia, we look at property management as a very important thing. Okay, a lot of people used to say, when you own strata title in an apartment, what do you own? You don't own the land. You own, what do you own? You own airspace. That's what it is, right? Everybody get to know. So how to put illustration on airspace? What is airspace? So this is a new thing, a very new thing, but it's becoming such an important thing. So property management, yes, I would say that if you look at just only renting, leasing, that's also a form of property management. But if you're looking into body corporation, really managing the whole estate, then that requires a certain standard. I would like to see, I would like to see before all these things take off, there's proper set of standard educational so-called syllabus that can actually bring everybody together on the same page, and so that there's some form of strong accountability. I think that's important because legislation cannot be enforced unless there is a strong set of accountability and standard. So perhaps that will be not for me to answer, but I would like to see it moving forward towards the kind of high value services. And then Propnex Cambodia obviously can deliver that, when the time comes, if there's a market for that. that's another day question for somebody much higher than me.
Okay, is there any more questions for the speakers?
No, I have nothing.
Facebook.
So I would say that put it this way. I mean, my point here is that it's not about FOMO, okay? Fear of losing out. Don't get me wrong, okay? The whole region is moving very fast, okay? And we know that the opportunity does exist in Cambodia, because if we are talking about it today, it's because we felt the strength of this country growing. We did not talk about it because we got no topic to talk. We talk about it because we recognize the strength of this country.
Yes.
So it has been decades.
It's going to be the tiger of Asia tomorrow. That's why it's very interesting. And I like to add that Philip has been my mentor for many years. He's the one who got me onto the overseas investment. My first investment was actually guided by him into Melbourne, into Australia. So I thank Philip for all the support and all the guidance all this year. Very glad to have you as my mentor. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Angie. Thank you very much. So it's not about FOMO, okay, guys. You could stand the profit, if you venture, okay. But if you do nothing, then you almost like history, Remember our forefathers used to say, "If I only know, I would buy the whole Orchard Road." So perhaps to investor in Singapore, this could be an opportunity for you to have a look at it, And when the opportunity comes, do come and visit Cambodia.
And it's a very good country, Philip. I see what you see. Okay, this is a very good place to invest. It
exactly
reflects 1990s of Singapore. So of the fast growing, and there is a vast opportunity at a very low entry today. I am saying today, but tomorrow I cannot promise that the price will be the same.
No, I've been there for the last 10 years, so I've seen a lot, and I've seen how this country takes shapes, It's not empty promises, it's happening, it's really, in front of me. So perhaps that is what I say, my last word to the whole program here is perhaps that's called certainty. There is some form of certainty, okay? People say the best time to invest was yesterday, but is there certainty yesterday? I'm not too sure too. But perhaps today there's more certainty, right? Yes. So, thanks for for inviting me to the show.
Thank you.
I
Thank you
truly
for.
enjoy it.
I guess for Singapore, for IEA Singapore, our objective is to let the viewers who may be investors, buyers, or agents to know that there are opportunities cross border. However, you really need to have some knowledge, have some insights into a country before you can even consider presenting any opportunities to your client, because today technology, everybody can get information with the click of a finger or the mouse. All right. So don't end up knowing less than what your customer knows. So it's important for you to know, just like Angie. Angie was a student of mine.
Yes.
She already got certification and vaccination. Actually, she can teach me now. I think in terms of experience, but I think it's equally important for agents. All right, to get yourself certified. Never mind if you're not selling foreign properties tomorrow. It's a skill set that you have to acquire and learn. Of course, we cannot have data experience like Philip. All right, 12 years experience. We really have to go and buy a lot of coffee and tea and lunch to learn a lot of things from him. Because experience is something that you don't learn from your books. All right, the books can't teach you. You need, just like some people say, you're smart, but you need to be street smart. So getting yourself certified and getting yourself ready for the future is when you are going to sell foreign properties. You never know, because there's so many investors in Singapore, elsewhere, who say tomorrow and say, Clarence, I have a property in Cambodia to sell. Can you sell or not? But if you know nothing about Cambodia, the people, the way they do business, how are you going to sell? You don't even have the contact. All right. Like now in Australia, if I need anything, I can call Philip. All right. If I need anything in Cambodia or anywhere else, I can call Angie. All right. Yeah. If I can't help my client, I'm sure Angie can. So this is important, that real estate agent must always acquire new skills. All right. Keep your mind fresh. All right. And learn as much as you can, because you never know when those information that you have gathered, your skill set, your knowledge can be of use to you in time to come.
Yes, indeed,
Yes.
indeed.
Yeah, for sure. I do appreciate all these years traveling in Cambodia. You know, I must say, Okun Chran to all my friends in Cambodia and supporter that has taught me so much. You know, in my journey, they are truly very so-called very loving people, very friendly people, and they mean well. You know, with limitation but they see the country as great possibility. So I truly enjoyed that experience, and also the support, the knowledge that I gained, you know, Jeff, you know, and Clarence and Angie. So yeah, so we try our best, you know, to support each other. So I think this is definitely the country of wonders, you know, and I think it's worth betting on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, just like Ken is asking that question about what is the prospect of in the future for property management, there are always opportunities.
Oh, big prospect, you know, Jeff, very big. You know, you can't build and keep on building if nobody manage it. You know, property management is the way to ensure and prolong the value of your asset. As simple as that. Okay, you're bound to have repair, you're bound to have, you know, cracking wall, you're bound to have peeling paint. These are part and parcel, right? But it does not mean that you're losing money. You're actually enhancing your asset. Okay, right? So by enhancing your asset, you know, if you buy the right property, you definitely is going to grow, because the price you're buying today is very affordable. You know what Angie tell you, he can't promise you what the future price will be. I can tell you the same thing. You know, I would encourage people who are, you know, want to do business, you know, even the ladies that I mentioned, you know, we need more ladies in business, you know, who wants to enter into Cambodia. Please do so. It's very safe. Language-wise, it's not an issue. English, Mandarin is all both equally good. The young Cambodian returning from overseas, they will provide the so-called middle management support, as well as even senior management support too. So these are great resource coming in because they are all well trained, to support the future growth of Cambodia. And in that aspect, commercial office, okay, I encourage you to look at commercial office, okay, secure some commercial office, A-grade one, especially in good location. So investor, think about that for long-term growth, okay, because these are something that can appreciate in terms of asset appreciation in long term. All right. So
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so since it's reaching quite late now, and shall we wrap up tonight's program? Yeah, before that, one note: if those people that is interested to know about Cambodia properties and all this thing, I think it's NG's, your office, that do have the sales gallery that maybe some visitors can visit you and understand more.
Yes, we are at Centrepoint, Orchard Road, Centrepoint, Jasco on the level 4. You can find us here. We have our sales gallery here by the developer. Okay, with some projects here, very interesting. If you are free, please drop by.
Okay. I think.
Thank you.
Before you go, I think a point of clarity. NG is now representing a developer.
Right.
She's not she's not encouraging agents to join her agency. She is opening up the doors as a developer representative in Singapore. So she's giving opportunity to agents who have buyers or clients who are interested to know more about projects in Cambodia. You can visit her. All right. So you see, that's an advantage of you getting certified and earning the designation. You put that in your business card. When you see a foreign developer, you have an upper hand over. You make the difference, between a normal agent and an agent who is certified and have the designation, the know-how, the skill set, how to market and sell foreign properties, right? And also, we are doing this for the benefit of members and agents. And for those who are currently still in the audience, don't forget on Friday the 13th, we are going to have another webinar in the afternoon about leasing of private residential properties. If you have not signed up, you're all welcome to sign up. It's a free webinar organized by IEA. All right, back to you, Mr. Clarence.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Jeff. And since you are reaching quite late, and thank you very much for the audience for staying tuned with us, and also remember to register with IEA for the next session this coming Friday. And also now it's COVID time. I would say that stay safe and a happy National Day to everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, Philip.
Good night.
Thank
Thank you, Philip.
Thank you.
Thank you, AJ.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
So,
All right.
Ukunchuran. Bye.
Mm.